the precept was, what are your superpowers?
Oh,
That was going to be our topic for the day from the precepts that you wrote. And what are your superpowers, Angie?
yeah. Oh man, I feel like put on the spot. Like, really?
That's
April
yeah.
sent you those, but I mean, it's cool.
Well,
Um, so here's what I've come to realize over the last few years, and I've gone down sort of this spiritual trail of, masculine, feminine, qualities of both. Men are masculine, women are feminine, but there's qualities of both. And what I've realized due to, my position and upbringing is that I very much can and do lean into both. Like I can very much be like that hard thinking, masculine, solid, caregiving, supporting person. But then I can also be very intuitive and feminine and lean into that side of things. So for me, some people are very firmly in one or the other, but I feel like a superpower of mine is the ability to firmly kind of be in both almost equally, which is not easy to do, and not a lot of people are able to do that.
so switching back from like feminine to masculine.
Yeah, so feminine
Yeah.
being the intuitive, the
Mhm.
creative, the obviously the motherly, taking care of everybody, but masculine also being like strong, disciplined, resilient provider, like toggling between the two of those. And as a female CEO, a lot of them have to really lean into that sort of masculine to hold that place, which I do, but I think I'm also able to sort of and not in a helpless way, but also lean into the feminine uh, form, which is intuitive, which obviously I'm really good at that, and communication and those different aspects. So it's pretty well rounded, in my opinion, of both, which I think is a good thing.
Nice. Have there been other points in your life where you felt you had other superpowers? Like you were felt like, I don't know, maybe like 10 years ago. Would you say the same thing?
Yeah, I think one of my best is just being super intuitive, like knowing what
Mhm.
people are thinking or gonna say or not wanting to say. And I've definitely noticed like those people that I'm around that have good intentions or, whatever, it's fine. It's like opens the door to communication. I can help when they're not necessarily saying they need help. I can perceive it. But I've also had it work in reverse where I'm sort of perceiving something and maybe people don't want me to know about it. And it's really
Wow.
affected relationships because it's almost like, get the fuck out of my head. I don't want you in here, sort of thing.
Mm. Like noticing something private, maybe.
Yes. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm very keen at picking up what you're not saying, and just watching and listening a lot.
Like good with body language and picking up stuff like maybe on people's faces or
Yeah. Just as an example, we had a former employee, and I just saw a picture on Instagram, just a picture posted amongst millions of pictures. They post, other people post, and I said, they're leaving. And the team was like, what are you talking about? They're happy, things are happening. I'm like, nope. I guarantee you need to go have a conversation with them, but they are on their way out. And it was a picture with them and, like, say, a girlfriend or something like that.
Mhm.
And there was no indications of this. And sure enough, after this conversation, they were like, you're right. They just gave her notice, blah, blah, blah happened. So sometimes it's as simple as just being observant of, like I said, sometimes it's not even anything they're saying. It's just being tuned into um, certain things.
Yeah, intuition, this
Yeah, which can
sixth
be a
sense.
blessing and a curse because there is this whole like ignorance is bliss thing, which is nice.
Mm.
But then
Yeah,
there's this whole other where, like, when it comes up for me, now I have to handle it. Now I have to deal with it. Now I know it's there. Whereas if I didn't know it was there, I could just blissfully go amongst my day without having to worry about it.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah, and then you're hung up on it maybe a little
Yeah.
bit or want resolution when you pick up on a sense like that. you kind of want to
Absolutely.
know what's going to happen
Yeah.
or game plan how to approach it in a mindful way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And certainly if something like a topic comes up multiple times, I'm like, okay, I get the urgency. I hear you, universe, God, whoever. Like this is something that has to be handled. This is now the second or third time I've come into my field. So it's now something that needs to be handled. But I like to think that's a good thing. Maybe there's a lot of stuff we head off at the pass because of intuiting these things.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. That's a cool superpower. I
Blessing
don't
and a curse.
know. I don't know if I have one to share myself.
Oh, you've got plenty, Tom.
I was thinking about like your team, like I was thinking about the like the leadership team, like Nate
Mm,
and Matt and you and
mhm,
Dan, and how you guys each have a unique thing that you bring to the table.
mhm.
Um, like what would Matt's superpower be?
Matt is the definition of equanimity. I mean, it's hard to shake that guy. You can hit him with anything. Now, it's going to take him a minute to process it. Like he's very methodical in his thinking. We call him the game master, right? He's got the chessboard. So like he's got it all in place. And if you say or do something that fucks with that chessboard, he's got to go back to like getting it all straight. But he doesn't get shook. Nothing shakes that guy. He has no problem like jamming people up as needed. Even recently yelled at some client because they were like peeing in our bushes, like cuckoo. Matt was the first one there to like handle it, put it in order. That Jersey came out in him, which I love. And he has the ultimate confront. Like there is nothing that he won't confront and go handle and do.
Mm-hmm.
He's just slow and methodical, which can drive me crazy because I'm like, okay, good, done. Let's move on. And he's like, whoa, hold on. Now let's think about this or let me
Yeah.
process it. You know how he is. There's just a process.
What about yeah, no, that makes sense. I agree. What about Nate?
Nate's chill. Nate's very agreeable. He's also very optimistic. So
Optimistic.
in whatever given scenario, he's always looking for the glass half full, the glass, the rosier outcome. He's very much just stays in his world and his lane, and which is great because everything could be going on, and he's just got his what he needs to get done. He's super smart, and he's very good with admin. He's good with his hands. He's good with the properties. He's good with people. Yeah, he's just easy. I can like hit Nate with anything, and there might be some throat clearing, but he can handle pretty much anything as well.
Throat clearing.
Yeah, there's some throat clearing. You can hear it like when there's high stress situations. Like I can hear the throat clearing in the other room, and I'm like, uh
Oh,
oh, what's going on, Nate? Like, it's just a little mannerism.
cool.
So another thing that I'm really good at,
The
since we're
power.
talking about how great I am, no I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Um, intention. So like if I have very high intention, and a lot of times I will make shit happen that doesn't necessarily happen for others. So like I think about like that festival I went to with my daughter, and I was able to get us backstage and get us down to see the people. Or I think about, the guitar I won at the other festival. Or,
Ah,
there's just certain things where I can really like, if I'm on the right level, I just good shit can happen for me in certain ways. My intention can be very high, and it can create that.
yeah, that's crazy. That's happened to you a couple times since I've known you. Yeah. Well, recently, yeah, you won that guitar
Mm-hmm.
signed by the members of Muse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you bought like a raffle ticket. It was a good cause. Animals in need, right?
Yep. Perfect
Yeah,
cause lined up
for cause. And
lined up
who knows
perfectly.
how many tickets were bought that
Yeah.
day. So many.
Yeah.
And you've like looked at it, you're like, I'm gonna win this thing.
Totally.
You
Yeah.
know, you're like, I'm gonna win this thing. I'm like, yeah, right.
I
Yeah.
know. Fuck, I wish I
And
would
you
have won
win
it
it.
last year. That was supposed to be like the fucking podcast with Avenged Sevenfold. I'm like, dude, that's my jam right there. Damn it. I'll have to get
Oh,
that one next time.
yeah. There's been other things too. I'm trying to think of another funny one that I remember was we were going to Warp Tour and uh we didn't want to join the herd and go on that long walk from the parking lot, and you just rolled right up to like VIP parking and just uh
Talked our way into it.
and just like said hi to the guy real quick, and we're like, yeah, you were just like, yep, VIP, yep, let me in, and it just happened so fast, like very
Yeah.
confident.
Dude,
Yeah.
and that's the key. You go in with confidence and everyone's like, "Oh, they belong. They're supposed to be here." I mean, that's how, like when I got Ariana and I backstage and I'm sitting up there with Knocked Loose going, "Holy shit." Like, first of all, A, I love this band, and B, I'm in Vegas, and C, here I am just standing on stage with them. Like, how cool is that right now? But again, it
Real.
was intention. Like, we're supposed to be here and just acting like we were supposed to be there and just walking right up there and just doing it as if that's what's supposed to be happening.
Yeah, just like tapping into that
Yeah.
intention, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
you
Brings
know
up an interesting theme that I've been really embracing, I think, a lot in the last week or two, and sort of switching gears, but not really. It's sort of like the intention behind that is be do have. I think a
Mhm.
lot of times we get stuck in the I have to have this so I can do these things,
Right.
so I can be this person. But really, if you just be that person and do what that person you want to be should be doing, then you can have all the stuff that you want associated with it. So, and I
Mhm.
think, when I talk about intention and belonging, that's what I'm doing. I'm just being the person that would be a person that would be backstage and on stage with their favorite band. Why not? That's who I am. And so it's
Yeah.
really leaning into that be part of it without the needing to do or have, which
Yeah.
comes later.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, it's like not the way people normally think about it, right?
Right. Right.
When I,
And even myself, I mean, I get stuck in the trap of like, we have to have this, like this loan or this benefactor or whatever partner. I have to have that in order for us to do all these things. But really, it's backwards. What we need to do is be who we are and do what comes with that. And then we can have all those things later. There's like no magic bullet. You gotta like um that one and I find myself, like I said, I have to check myself on it all the time because I'm looking for that have thing to make the be thing. But really, I need to do the be thing, which will lead to the have thing.
yeah, I think, yeah, we all get hung up on the having first somehow, and then somewhere along the line, we start to realize that it doesn't work that way. Like for instance, um, let's say like I can think about music, some of the like best bands, have like the crappiest gear sometimes. They just like, they play the hell
Mm,
out of their instruments, and and then the good gear comes later, when they're on tour and you see them. But when they started out, it was just all about, the song or a certain feeling or, just playing together with friends. But I can recall like instances of thinking like, oh no, I needed that, you know, guitar effects pedal or something to
yeah,
be like to have the sound that I want. But really it's just not about that, it's just not about having that thing. It's about like embodying what it means to be, I don't know, a musician, right?
yeah,
It's not the equipment that makes the musician. It's just that it's something else, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's 100% it. Like that's a perfect analogy. And again, you can like know all this stuff, like we know
Mhm.
it, right? But you can also, at least for myself, find myself trapped in doing it. And then I have to like check myself, like, whoa, 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 okay, wait, what's happening? I was fixated on having to have this, have this, have this, have this, and it doesn't happen. The disappointment. Now I'm bringing myself down and bringing everything down because I have to have this and I can't have it and I'm not having it. And then it's like, wait a minute, is that going to really be the thing that makes you happy? Or is it the feeling that you're looking for by what that thing that you would have create? And then, how can we create that without having that? How can we create that feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's every day. There's always some sort of thing trying to, get you to think that like you need to have something else,
Oh, yeah.
and like it's like that broad, right? You need to have something else, whether that's you need to have this supplement or this like pair of shoes or we're constantly going against all this like marketing, that
Yeah.
gets
I
us to
mean, now
think
more
like,
than ever, like we're just being bombarded with it. Like AI is bombarding us. We just have a thought of something we'd like, and then all of a sudden we're getting served ads on the phone, and then it just feeds that monster of having to have
yeah, where have is
happiness.
more important than be, right?
Yeah. It's
Right.
crazy.
You're just like constantly being reprogrammed or programmed to believe that, like even with like CrossFit, it's like, I remember I bought this pair of grips for gymnastics stuff, and I was like, oh man, all the new athletes were getting them, and there's like a new sponsor on the scene. I was like, man, I really need these,
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to improve
and
my performance by like
yeah, I was like, oh,
20%.
this is gonna help me. Yeah, for sure. Like, oh,
Yeah.
if they're, uh, if all the new or all the big names are using them, then that means they got to be good, and it's giving them the edge. But they're just, and I got a pair, right, of these new grips. They're called Frog grips from Australia, and they're just grips, they're nothing.
There's
They're
nothing special.
nothing. They're nothing special at all, and yeah, it's just the only thing that really matters is like, okay, if you want to be like just like like the point of your be do have, yeah, if you want to be like these professional athletes, it's not the grips. There's no way. You have to, you know, live their life, right? You have to, take care of your sleep, your diet. You have to, train like
Yeah.
3 times a day.
Yeah.
Like that's how you get good at, pull-ups or whatever gymnastics ups. It's because, you do those things and you behave like an athlete. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just another example of the same point. But
Well, and it makes so much sense because, like, when we're looking at these ads, we think if I have those, I'll be able to do more
yeah,
pull ups and faster, but really nothing circumvents the work. And, like, all these ads are trying to tell us is like, you don't need to do the work, you just need to own this product, and it bypasses all the work. But that's not true. Nothing bypasses the work. The work has to be the work.
yeah, yeah, and maybe that's the hopefully we get there, you know,
Yeah.
where like we're not buying anything anymore. Like no one. We're just like,
Oh, man. Do you
we're not
imagine?
buying anything new. Like we're just boycotting all of just this consumerism, that we're always wrapped up in, the next new product, the next new supplement. Um,
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because, there's like societies within our societies that are sort of anti that. So
yeah,
like
for sure.
Burning Man, right? Like that's the premise of it is nobody's buying or selling anything. It's strictly a trade. And that could be even a compliment. Like and it could be someone just gives you a compliment and you're just like, "Thank you." You don't feel like if you're not feeling it, you don't have to give it back. And the whole premise of it is almost like this symbiotic like, oh, I have this. Do you need that? No? Okay. Well, then I'll give it to someone but it's not a buy sell thing. It's more of a as needed and I'm giving this to you because I want to, or you're taking it because you do need it and you're thankful, but you're not just taking it to take it. So it's this interesting little microcosm of a society where they're trying to break that. Now, obviously, at least with Burning Man, from what I've heard, it breaks all kinds of other rules on top of everything. But the premise of it is more of that sort of trade and get out of the consumerism type atmosphere.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I didn't either, but I've inquired. I mean, it's right outside Reno. So, that was almost something that was there
It's
not
a
my whole life.
festival, right? It's like a rave, or is
Well, it's
it?
like a camping out in the desert. Tons of people come.
Neat.
They camp. They have trailers. Everybody dresses up and cruises
Yeah,
around, and there's different camps within the camps. And the whole time I think they're adding stuff to this man that they burn on the final day, but it's like this big ceremonial thing.
hmm.
But again, you're not allowed to sell or buy anything there. It's strictly like a trade,
Trade.
goodwill kind of thing.
Oh, that's a cool concept in itself. I always looked at it, it felt like this like always had like this really Mad Max look to it, you know, like
Yeah.
Burning Man. Like
Yeah.
I didn't I guess I just never knew what it was. I didn't know it
Yeah.
had this like foundational like good meaning to it. I just thought it was this like just this crazy gathering and it had like a look to it, It had like this
Yeah.
very like deserty Mad Max look. I know. Cool. That's
I mean, it is out in the desert, no doubt about it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just watched that Furiosa this weekend with
Oh, the
with Logan.
Mad
Yeah.
Max spinoff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. How was it? Was it any
It's
good?
pretty deserty. It's
Yeah. Pretty
it's
desert.
exactly like you said. It's Mad Max. I mean, I loved it
Yeah.
because Chris Hemsworth is in this one.
Uh-huh.
So, and I just love him. He's got to be my favorite actor of all time. But yeah, it was good. It's that genre is more of the same. So, a lot of violence and survival and things like that. You got to be in the right headspace.
To watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not like happy ending kind of movies, feel good movies. It's more
Yeah.
just action and it is what it is kind of things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I don't know, it didn't grab my attention, but what do you give it? A, B, C,
Mm, definitely, I'm gonna say a B. A
B.
B.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Great effects, great, I mean, cool storyline. It's a lot of fighting the whole time, which I'm not opposed to, but at the same time, it's like, after 2 hours of it, it gets a little old. It's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you want to segue into now?
Um, well, speaking of high intention, I went to Motley Crue this weekend. I flew
Oh,
out
what?
and went with my son. My heart was warm as he was singing a lot of the Motley Crue songs.
Your
Uh,
son was Logan?
yeah,
Oh,
I
really?
know.
He knows him?
See, in the last
Been
few
raised
years,
around it.
on his own volition, he's gotten into like country and rap and what all the kids his age are listening to. So I kind of felt like he dropped his heavy metal roots that I raised him in, but not the case. He's like, "Oh, remember last time I went and we saw them?" And you and I've gone to like hundreds of concerts. So I was like, which time was that? But he totally remembered. He was singing all the songs. It was super cool. But my point of that was that whole intention thing because I've met Vince Neil, the lead singer, and Tommy Lee, the drummer, as my favorite bands through different things. Just like how I ended up meeting Pantera, which was my favorite band. So that intention of mine, if it's something I truly care about, which obviously is music, I'm able to create cool shit that not everybody's able to by meeting like my heroes.
Dude, that's awesome. Where was that concert?
So we were in Oklahoma.
Oh,
We were,
crazy.
yeah. So I flew into Dallas, but it's an hour drive
Mhm.
over to Oklahoma. So they were playing at the big casino over in Oklahoma.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So the way I met Vince Neil,
Yeah.
so gosh, this was like probably 15 years ago, something like that. They were playing in Reno. So I went to go see them in Reno and they just got back together. I was very excited. And I went to the show with my best friend, Laura. And we had heard that they were going to show up at a strip club in Reno after the show. So we went to the strip club and just sat outside waiting. And sure enough, Vince Neil rolls up in his limo. And I'm like, come on, Laura, let's go say hi. And she literally hid behind the pole, like so embarrassed and like nervous and shy. And I just went straight up to him and, shook his hand. And oh, that was back before we had cell phone cameras. So I didn't get a picture, but I got to meet him. And that
Yeah.
was pretty cool. So I was just very high intention on that.
No, that's awesome. That's super cool. So, uh, Motley Crue in Oklahoma. That had to be recent then, huh? Like a couple
That was last weekend.
last weekend. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Awesome.
flew out to Dallas and back in 2 days just to go to the show.
Oh, okay, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, here's what happened. We get there and this casino is just packed. It's the biggest casino in the entire United States. I had no idea, but they also have a concert venue there. So we went and we went to the show and I'm looking around and I'm like, damn, everybody here's so old. And Logan's like, man, mom, everyone's so old. And I'm like, oh, wait, I'm like the same age as all these people. So it was like kind of weird because I'm looking at everybody thinking they're old, but then I'm realizing I'm probably the same age as all of them. Um, so, rockers, former rockers, that sort of growing up in the 80s didn't do everybody quite so well. It made me very appreciative of the very healthy lifestyle that I've adapted, especially in the last, 10 plus years with, diet, exercise, CrossFit, mental, spiritual, like all that kind of stuff. Like we all don't age the same, but it made me very grateful that I've put in the work that I have.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I saw uh, a picture or video of Tommy Lee and he was looking rough.
Was he? So I was pretty far away, so I couldn't like see their features like close up or anything. But I know they're like at least 5+ years older than me, and they ran hard
Yeah.
for a lot longer than I did, like a lot longer, like the
Oh yeah.
majority of their, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
they
he
put some
he
real miles on.
he did, but he still did his thing, it's kind of funny. I was thinking about, so, he always tries to get the girls to like, flash him. Like,
Yeah,
he wants
yeah.
to see boobs. And I'm thinking, and of course, Logan's like, you better not, mom. I'm like, of
Oh
course I'm
shit.
not
Your
gonna
son.
flash my boobs at Tommy Lee with next to my son. Like, come on, dude. But also thinking like, what kind of boobs are they seeing these days? 50+ year old women, like, but he's still out there trying. Tommy's still out there trying. Not as many takers as there was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but he's still trying to get them boobs.
He can't let it go, it's in his heart. It's in
It's in
his
his
heart.
heart. It's in his demeanor. I mean, I like Tommy Lee a lot. He reminds me of like a golden retriever. He's like a big, happy go lucky puppy kind of guy, just young spirit, I would say. I like him a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Did you ever watch that
The Dirt,
what's that?
The Dirt.
The Dirt? No, there was a series. It was called I think it was called, yeah, Tommy and Pam on Hulu or
Mm,
something. It was like one season about, yeah, just about their life together. You didn't
mm.
see that?
I don't know if I ended up watching that.
You
I
should
mean, I
watch it.
remember living it like while it was
Yeah.
happening, but I don't know if I watched that.
Yeah, it was all about their sex tape and, being in the middle of all that and all their fights around it. And the guy who stole it, it was
Mm.
played by Seth Rogen,
Oh, wow.
the guy who
Was it
sold.
good? Was it worth the
Uh,
watch?
yeah, no, it was really good. Yeah, it's super entertaining. Like every, episode made you want to watch the next one. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, what's gonna happen next?
Oh, shoot. I got to
Yeah,
watch that one.
yeah,
And
it
then
was
you
good.
need to watch The Dirt, which is
I think I saw that. It's just a Motley Crue
movie.
documentary, right? A movie about, or yeah, it's not a doc, but a movie about the band, right? Forming and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And it was based off the book,
It was the
which
Netflix, right? It was a
it was
Netflix.
on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And the book
watched.
was so cool when it came out because it was all of their perspective. So it took all four band members and wrote, the same story, the same timeline, but from
Perspective.
each of their perspectives and what was going on in each of their worlds while everything was going on in their overall Motley worlds. Um, I
Hmm.
mean, the book was phenomenal. The movie was it was pretty good. It was pretty close to the book. But I mean, it's like pretty awesome because it gives you like a really deep dive into the behind the scenes of a rock star and what that entailed and shit, all the drama that they went through was just like stuff that it's just it is a lot of stuff that most human beings don't go through. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy lives,
Yeah.
crazy stories, crazy. Could you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can't imagine being in their shoes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I wasn't actually even going to go see them again because,
Oh,
and I think it was the last time I was with Logan, it was their farewell tour. This is it. We're never coming back, blah, 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 which, we see, how many times has Ozzy said that? Like 1,000 times. Um, Slayer, we've seen them do that. Anyway, we've seen a lot of
yeah,
farewell tours. And so
for
this
sure.
was their farewell tour, and I really believed it, and my heart was really in it. And I'm like, okay. And so when they came back around, I was like, dude, that lasted like 2 years. Really, you guys? And so I was going to boycott it because I didn't feel good about supporting them after they said they were going away. But then when my kid asked me if I go with them, I'm like, okay, how can I say no to that? All right,
Yeah.
fine. But they did good. I mean,
Yeah.
it was funny. It was like no headliner, or I mean, no opener. They were the headliner, and it was start to finish 90 minutes. That was
Okay.
it. And I wish I'd known that because I went pee in the middle because I'm jumping up and down, and so I missed like a song. But had I known it was only going to be 90 minutes, I
You would
could
have.
have held it. I could have held it.
Okay.
I mean, I only missed one song, but when you're only 90 minutes
Only
in,
there
that's
for 90. Yeah, that's a big trip. Yeah, you don't
yeah.
want to miss any songs. Yeah, yeah, when you bring up the band's retiring and coming back around, yeah, I'm just still so upset with Slayer. I'm just like, gosh, it makes me so mad.
I feel like Kerry King is too. Like he's trying to, I mean, like you said, his new stuff sounds just like Slayer. Is that
Yeah,
him singing on there?
I don't I honestly I haven't looked into it too much, but it sounds like, yeah, Tom Araya.
Yeah.
Sounds just like, yeah, just basically just like Slayer
Yeah.
under a different name.
Yeah.
It's so
It
weird.
kind of bums me out. It's like, is it, why do we got to go through that whole farewell thing? You don't have to do that. Like, just say, hey, we're taking a break and then come back. Like, but, then you just start to feel like it's all part of like the business scheme to pump up the tickets. And then there's no real intention behind it. And I just don't love that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I feel played. I don't like that
Yes.
feeling. I feel like, I like had this moment with them on, where they're like saying goodbye and
Yeah.
you're like, oh man, this is so sad. Like
Yeah.
there they go. This is it. This is the last time they're gonna play here. Wow. And then nope. So it's like it's like it just basically is like, yeah, that feeling that you had when you said goodbye and you even got emotional. Yeah, that was bullshit. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Once we got away with it, we're like, why did we want to leave? That was the best
or
time of our life.
yeah,
Which
or
I
they're
get,
like,
they could have some
gotcha.
like existential like feelings. Like I think Carrie Keene said that. Like I didn't know that I would feel this way. And I wish I hadn't like made that declaration.
Yeah. Yeah, I need like an apology. I
Same.
need like a
Same.
like a public statement, like an official video telling us what happened, and
Yeah.
I need some.
At least
You can't
letting
just
us.
like go, you can't just be added to like, the next big headlining show and have everyone with no explanation, like no public statement. It's kind of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Like, yeah, that was after Ozzy did that, probably the fifth time. I'm like, whatever, Ozzy. Like, after I
Yeah.
saw him after that, I'm like, you say this all the time. And yet here you are, less than a year later, you're back out on the road. So your word means nothing to me. It's part of your thing. It is what it is. I still like you. But yeah, it's an interesting declaration for sure.
Yeah, I guess the Slayer one was the first time it has happened to me, and
Mm,
as far as some of the bands that um where they were doing, as far as like a band that I've followed for many years and enjoyed and been a, big fan of,
At least
like
they've
having
stayed
a,
with it. At
yeah,
least they've
there's been a lot of bands that just break up, like, like something happens, but they don't do this like giant farewell tour and stuff like that, Uh,
right.
so I'm used to like the band's just breaking up and there being no more music. There's no more tour, and that's that, there's no farewell. It just happens.
Yeah. Guns N'
And
Roses did that. Like they broke up, and I thought they had complete irreconcilable differences. Like I never in a million years would have thought that they'd work it out and get back together, and they did. But luckily they didn't do that whole declaration and we're forever. They just had bad blood and quit performing. But then they figured it out, and they were like, "What are we doing, man? We were like one of the biggest bands ever. Like, duh, let's get back together." They
yeah,
figured it out. Maybe they got
that
some therapy.
that plays well for me, like
Yeah,
that playing out like that is much better than like a 2 year long farewell tour, like
yeah,
two times around the globe.
yeah.
That was that was Slayer, like two times. I swear, I can't
They
quote me
were
on it.
they were
Felt
farewelling
like
for a while.
it went on forever. I feel like I saw them twice on their farewell tour.
Yeah, where did we see them? I feel like we saw them at the somewhere in San Jose, maybe. I
Yeah,
forget. We
no, we
we did
saw
see
them,
them.
and I think we did see them in San Jose,
Yeah,
and it was like a,
Civic maybe,
like a
or the Shark
local,
Place,
yeah,
something like that. Yeah, where the Sharks, the that one, that bigger venue. Yeah.
The Oracle, right?
Mm. Mm-mm.
Oracle
Oracle's
Arena.
Oakland. We could have saw them in.
I think that's where we saw them.
Yeah, that was big.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
and it was
Yeah.
like
So I guess,
emotional.
what do we think? Are they coming back? You think Carrie's
Yeah.
gonna get them to come back?
Oh yeah, I think they're coming back. I think that's what I think they're on. Aren't they playing Aftershock? Isn't that what started,
We did see that. Yes, we did.
right?
And they
They
better
are.
show. Pantera better show. I am going to be so pissed if Pantera doesn't show this time. That
No,
is
I
a
don't know the
bucket
story
list.
of what happened last year, but yeah, Slayer is the headliner on Thursday night.
Perfect.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, you
So
know,
they are back. Okay.
yeah, they're back. Yeah, they're like
They're back.
just there's yeah, just like, oh yeah,
Yep.
forget. Hopefully, they're hoping people forget. They're hoping we're not offended that
I
they
feel
had
like
a.
Carrie's going to explain it. I think Carrie's going to address it when he gets on stage. I feel like he's kind of like a man of his word, and he's going to feel compelled to have to explain it. Maybe.
I
Or
hope
they could
so.
just play like nothing ever happened, like they never left.
I need to be I need some sort of story to enjoy it because I'm
He
like kind of
wants a
I'll be
public
like
apology.
sitting back like you guys said you were done.
Yeah. But I'm still here.
Yeah, I'll watch, but like still not
Yeah.
happy, you know.
Ah, oh my God, that's gonna be so good. That's gonna be, we're gonna have 2 days of really good shows. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Yeah, Slipknot, Slayer, Pantera, some big
Yeah,
ones, some big names.
yeah, yeah. Excited about that. That'll be good. You know what I hope comes back that they didn't have last year? I was just talking about yesterday is those lobster main rolls. Man, that
Oh
food
yeah.
truck was like the highlight when we saw them a couple years ago, and they didn't have it last year.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was it was really screwing up my plan,
I
you know.
know. We had to like go off script and eat crap and like, damn,
Yeah,
where was our
it's
lobster rolls, man?
screwing up my concert diet, you know.
It's true. It's true. And then we were paying like so much for stuff that was like half as good as the lobster rolls for the same
Yeah.
price or more. Yeah, it was not good. So hopefully they get back in there.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping for that.
fingers crossed for that for sure.
Oh, Five Fingers going to be there too. So we get to see
Mhm.
Ivan. That'll be awesome.
Oh yeah. Has he been on your podcast?
Yet. I'm
Not
still
yet.
trying. I'm still trying. He's got, agents,
Agents.
managers. There's a lot of layers
There's
to
the
get to
stuff
him.
between you and him. You got
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of layers there.
layers there. Yeah.
Unfortunately. Damn it. I mean, he's just coming off, actually he's still on the like world tour with Metallica. So they're pretty big, they're
Yeah.
pretty big. They're touring with Metallica. So he's kind of up there.
I mean, it that's as big as it gets if you're
Yeah.
touring with Metallica. You can't get any bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So, but you know, he's sweet. He'll message about how I'm doing big shit. I'm like, dude, but you look at your platform. You're doing really big shit. And you know, walking the life of being, you know, a sober person out here. Look how many people you're affecting in such a positive way because, you know, he's not hiding it. He's very open about it. It's pretty awesome what he's doing in our heavy metal world for sure.
Hmm. Have you seen that it's like a template that I don't know the actual name, but I'll just describe it that people use on their stories. And it's like first concert you went to, loudest concert, worst one. Have you seen that before recently?
No.
No. A lot of people have been doing it.
Oh, I'd like to do that. That
Yeah.
would require a lot of thought because we've seen a lot of
I
concerts.
know. I was like, gosh, do I want to do this? I've been thinking about it. But
Hmm.
um,
You should do it and tag me, and then we can talk about it on our next show.
okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'm
I
not going to
still
show
don't
you. I'm
know.
not going to show you my answers until we're on the show, or I won't tell you the answers,
Okay.
and you don't tell me yours. Just
Well,
tag
we've
me.
talked about a lot of the things before, but it's a long list of like
Okay.
concert stuff.
Hmm.
First concert, loudest concert, worst concert.
Hmm.
Um,
How do you judge that, though? I mean,
worst concert?
mhm.
I mean,
I feel for that
it's
one, I'm thinking
unique.
about the Deftones at the Civic. Their sound was off, and it was a small venue. It was just like it hit like a dog. Like there was like this, like a dog whistle would hit a dog. It was like there was that kind of
Oh,
noise where I was like, I could
really?
not enjoy it. It was bad
Oh, at the Civic?
in Santa Cruz. Yeah,
Oh, I never went to that one.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I didn't go to that. I didn't go to that. Don't I've only been to the Civic, I think two times. And for like Smashing Pumpkins and Nine Inch Nails.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I saw Slayer there.
Oh, at the Civic. I feel like
Uh-huh.
I think I almost went to that one. I really
Yep, that
wanted
was
to
a
go.
long time
Yeah,
ago. I saw Slayer there.
that was like early 2000s, I think.
Well, when I saw him, it was even before that. It was more like mid
90.
90s.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Maybe around 95, 90. I would say 95.
95.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
That
prior
was probably
to
a good
that, I
one.
saw Suicidal Tendencies there.
Hmm.
But probably the best thing I've ever seen there is the Nutcracker.
Oh,
I've gone so many years to that Nutcracker. Ah,
oh, really?
uh-huh. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Was not expecting that. It's, the
I
Nutcracker
know.
is my
It's just
favorite.
like this holiday tradition that I've drugged my kids to every year. They hated it so much, but it was like, then it became comical because I knew how much they hate it, but I made them do it anyway. And I guarantee they're going to end up doing it with their kids just because, you know, as much as you resist it, it's like this weird tradition. And yeah,
We'll have to see. We'll have to see if it plays out that way. That'll be
right.
interesting.
Well, the last time we went, I was surprised. Two of Logan's friends that he was in high school with were in the Nutcracker. So it was kind of
Mm,
cool because he was like more willing to go because he got to see his friends performing, which was kind of fun.
yeah. I never thought you would say your favorite show. I mean, I guess it's at the Civic, so it's a unique place. Yeah. I saw David Copperfield at the Civic, though.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
love me some magic.
Yeah. And my mom got actually asked to go on stage.
Did she do it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And she said she wanted to yell, fraud. She saw how he did one of the tricks.
Oh, yep.
It was like an up close magic trick, and she saw the sleight of hand.
Oh,
He wrote her
yeah.
name on a card, and then all the cards supposedly went in the balloon, but she could see that her card didn't go in the balloon, and he like sleight of hand and slipped it around the outside, and she could
Mm.
tell the
That
trick
she
was
played
like
along
set
with
up.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, she played along with it. The trick was set up in such a way to where like there was a close-up camera on, him doing the trick for the audience, but she had like a side angle that I guess he uh, you know, didn't do the trick good enough for her to not be able to see, right?
That's a bummer. I hate that when you can see behind it.
Yeah.
I took my kids to
All
the
tricks.
I loved him. Chris God, what is his
Angel.
name? Huh? Chris Angel, yeah. So
Yeah.
we went and saw him in Vegas at the Luxor when he first started residing there. And I took the kids because I
Hmm.
used to watch his show every week. Like he did some crazy magic shit. But I could tell like in one of the things, like it really wasn't him, but he was up here, but then all of a sudden he was down here. But I could tell the one up there wasn't really him. And
Right.
it just kind of
The
bummed me
double.
out. I'm like, damn it. Like I don't want to see behind it. I want to be kind of fooled by the magic and believe in magic and think that there's magic. I don't like not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause then it's, you know, the trick is just a trick.
It's just a trick,
It's
man.
not magic. It's just,
Damn
it
it.
turns from
I
magic
like to
to a
believe there's
trick.
magic. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Right on.
Oh, you know who else I saw at the Civic was Jane's Addiction. I think I saw them there a
Oh,
couple times. They
that would have
played
been
there a
cool.
few times. Oh, and Social D. I saw them there as well. Gosh,
Okay.
I guess I've seen quite a few shows down there.
Damn. At the Civic, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen Social D at the Catalyst several times. Yeah. Especially in high school. I can remember seeing Social D at the Catalyst more than
They came a
once. I
lot.
remember seeing Social Distortion the night before my SATs. And it was like, and my parents were like, Tommy, do you have to go to this one? You know, I have to go.
I
Like
have
this,
to go.
this
It's
is
Social D. Come on.
everyone's going, like everyone's going.
Yeah.
And then
How'd you do on your SATs?
good enough.
That's good.
Not, I mean, not amazing, but
Yeah.
not terrible. Um, yeah, but I remember taking because it was a bunch of us who went to Social D and then took our SATs, and we all took a bunch of these like caffeine pills, like the dodos, I think that's what they called them. And this is
Ugh. Yeah.
yeah, they were gross.
They were gross. I remember
They were
chopping those
gross.
up and snorting them. Like
Oh
one
no.
pill would turn into like half a gram. I was like, oh
Oh,
my God, that's for one pill?
desperate times, I guess.
I know I was a true addict. Like, what can I say?
Yeah.
I'm like, why
Had
take them orally? I could snort this. And it was like ridiculous. Just one pill was so much.
too
It
much
was
like
gross. It's so
filler
gross.
or buffer. Gross.
Yeah. So gross. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think they have no dose anymore.
Um,
Yeah, they probably do. They probably have 50,000 variations of it.
well, they do have energy drinks, so it's
5 hour
basically the same
energy.
thing.
Yeah. Yep. All
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. They
Totally.
more enjoyable than
Yeah.
taking a like gross little chalky pill that gets you like all jittery.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now you have a
Ugh.
sugary drink that you can taste, and
Right.
yeah.
I never did when they first came out, 5 hour energy.
Oh,
Um,
the little 5 hour shots. Yeah.
yeah, the little shot. So obviously I've, been on my path for a long time when they came out. But Rigo, you remember him,
Yeah.
he and Cheryl went to Hawaii on their honeymoon. And on the way back, they were on the plane and the guy in front of them, they watched him like chug one of these little 5 hour energies. Then at some point on the plane, like the stewardess, there started to be like some like upset. And by the time they landed, they had to keep everybody back and haul this guy off. He literally drank a 5 hour energy and died on the plane. And it's like a 5 hour flight. And they made sure, nobody like freaked out. But basically, this guy like died mid flight. Now, obviously, I'm sure he had done other stuff than 5 hour energy. But when I heard that, I was like, I will never drink a 5 hour energy. Like, are you kidding me? That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't think I'd want to touch one either after an experience like that. That sounds kind of
Right.
crazy. Yeah.
Right, which is even funnier because you think about the drugs that we did, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm afraid of a 5 hour energy, but still, also when your body becomes clean and good, you just, yeah, why mess around?
Sometimes that's all it takes, you know? I was watching, I was really taken back by, I was watching the first little bit of Theo Vaughn's interview with Donald Trump.
Mm. Look
And
at
Donald,
him, man,
yeah,
interviewing a freaking president of the United States. Like, I'm
I
so
know.
proud of him.
What
Like,
a boss.
amazing,
Yeah, super
amazing.
cool. And, and he was asking him some like really human questions, which I thought was like enjoyable, but Donald Trump's old, and it was like kind of I was getting a little snoozy watching him, kind of like like watch him talk. But
He is old, yeah.
but the point in me bringing it up was, you said you saw somebody have a 5 hour energy, and you're like, you've never had one because of that, And Donald Trump talks about his brother who was an alcoholic, and he's never had alcohol ever.
Trump
Donald
has
Trump
never
has
had
never
alcohol?
drank any
Wow.
alcohol, never smoked anything ever, ever, his entire life.
Wow.
And it was basically because he saw what his brother went through, right?
Yeah.
And his brother told him, like, you just never drink, don't ever do it, and he was like,
Damn.
okay. And he just never did it. And he's like,
And
yeah,
what
it's
a
pretty
wise
easy.
move.
It's pretty
I
easy
mean,
not to drink because I just have never done it.
yeah.
That's what he says, right?
Well, and
So,
it explains why there's not like hidden, sordid past that they've been able to dig up because he's always been like mentally 100% there. Like he's not doing dumb shit that he didn't remember he did, or,
right.
crossing lines that he shouldn't because he was like drunk, or, that sort of stuff. It actually totally makes sense now. Yeah, I get it. Good for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. I just never knew that. It was an interesting story that he told, right? And yeah, it just makes you, yeah, sometimes that's all it takes, and you hear
Hmm.
that a lot, like, oh yeah, I saw what my parents went through. I never want to go through that,
Hmm.
you know. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and it
interesting.
definitely does seem to go one path. Either you follow them or you do the exact opposite of them,
Yeah,
whoever
yeah,
them is. Like, it's like if it's that significant, it's either like, oh, that looks cool, I'm going to do that too, or I will never do that because I saw what that happened.
yeah, yeah. I don't. Yeah, it just depends on the relationship, who is telling you, right?
Right.
Like who's saying don't ever do this. You're like, depends on your relationship with that person. With your
Yeah.
parents, they're like, never use drugs. You're like, that means I better, you know, try use
Everything.
as much drugs as possible. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what
just
happened to
like just to
me.
spite your parents, or I don't know what it is. You're just
Be
like
rebellious.
be
Yeah.
rebellious, or just like just ego. That's just trying to deal with your own ego, and it just
Mm.
gets away from you. You know.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened to me is I had my mom saying don't, but then I had my aunt and uncle who I considered were super cool, like totally drinking, smoking, partying, and they were way more fun than my mom. And I'm like, why am I going to listen to my mom? Like they're the ones having a good time. I'm going to be like them. And that's what put me on my path at a young age, is wanting to be like the cool kids pretty much, because that looked like way funner than my mom, who was like boring and rigid and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Just being a teenager is so complicated.
Oh, whew.
And
So
just the
complicated in so many
decisions,
ways,
and
and your
just
brain's not formed, and mm,
just
mm-hmm.
the being in school, the dynamic of it all. Yeah, it's been such a trip. Yeah, always looking back at that period of time when you start to go one way,
Make the
start to
choices we
lean
made. Yeah.
towards a certain direction. It's like, why did I do that? It's always so interesting. I always see something different, when I look back.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
There's a lot of
It's a
layers to that.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to be in that age. I guess that's my point. There's a lot of different things to look at. Every time I think I have it pegged, I'm like, oh, but I didn't actually think about that part of it all, and
That's a
then
good
you're like,
thing.
whoa, that's another yeah, layer to process, or another factor to add in, and that changes your kind of perspective of the situations. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. And just think, in like 8 years, you get to go through the perspective of the parent of a teenager.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
when it really comes full circle. And for me, I was like, damn it, why was I such an asshole? Karma came right back to me, man.
Yeah, I was
Now
more
you guys probably
nervous.
won't go through that, but I sure did.
I was more nervous for my son on his first day of kindergarten today than I think he
Aw.
was. Yeah, the first day of kindergarten, just what just watching him play a little bit before they had this like first day kind of assembly thing. And I was just like, yeah, it's just bringing you back, to those early memories
Oh, I
playing
loved
on
kindergarten.
playing
I
on the
just remember loving kindergarten. They had the coolest toys, and I felt like an adult, even though I was like a kid, but I loved kindergarten.
yeah. I don't have a whole lot of memories from it. I can't say that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I don't remember it very well. I remember the room, you know, but
doesn't everything
anyways.
seem like so small? Like as an adult, when you go see how tiny everything is, it's like
Oh
little
yeah.
dollhouse stuff. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah. The little
small. The
chairs, the little
sinks, the toilets,
desks.
everything's so small.
It is. It's super. Yeah, it just gives you a feeling.
It totally gives you a feeling. It's so weird. It's such interesting perspective. Like I think that happens a lot when you go away from something and you come back and you're like, damn, I remember this so much bigger. Like this was so big. And now that I'm here as an adult, that's not that big. Like, wow, it's perspective for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember. I would go back to my elementary school and just walk around every once in a while. Such a trip.
It's a
Just
trip.
yeah, just seeing the same like windows and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good old times. Well, you're in such a great place. Like these next especially I would say the next 6 years are just going to be golden. Once those hormones start kicking in, it can kind of mess with kids' brains and then things get a little more
Yeah.
complicated. But you got a good 6 years before that happens. So just enjoy it.
Yeah, and I will, and I'm expecting it. The those teenage years, Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, who even knows what the world's going to look like then? It's like you just got to be in the moment and enjoy what you got.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hope for the best.
that's right.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, it was awesome talking to you as always.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Awesome talking with you as well. Thanks for the Motley Crue stories and the
I know,
superpower
and then I was
talk.
wearing Motley Crue the last 2 weeks, so that I didn't wear it today. But
Oh,
whatever.
yeah,
Motley Crue will always be in my heart. It's fine. Yes. Yeah. We squeezed in lessons. We always end up on music and concerts. I don't know how or why, but we always end up there.
I don't know. I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of people that I talk to about that kind of stuff right now. So it's good to
Yeah.
chat with you about concerts and stuff.
Well, I would say that's the one thing that we instantly connected on, and it's been the majority of our friendship for sure. Is
Yeah.
all the shows, the music, the concerts, all that kind of stuff. Even though I'm not a musician, I've listened to enough of it that I could somewhat keep up with you in regards to that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Yeah, I'm
Awesome.
trying to see if anything else new in the music world. No, just there's just one song that's cool. It's from Military Gun is the name of the band. And Knock Loose took them out on tour. It's not like a super uplifting song, but you should check it out.
All right, send it to me. I'll
I'll
listen
send
to
it
it.
to you. All right, I'll let you go.
All right, Tom. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Peace.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.